Good morning, everyone. Today in this session, in continuation with our JavaScript, we are going to see various inbuilt objects which are supported by JavaScript, right? So in this, we are going to first discuss about the window object, right? So suppose if you want to manipulate the information regarding the windows, right? So suppose, for example, if you want to fetch the size of your window, okay, if you want to open a new window from the current window, so that kind of activity, that kind of task you can perform with the use of window object, right? So in JavaScript, window is the top level object, right? And it represents the browser's window. So whatever browser you are using, so that represented by the window object. It represents an open window in a browser. So whatever browser right now currently open in your computer, so that will be represented by the window object, right? And almost all the browsers are supporting this window object. Okay, so in our previous examples, we have already used document object, right? So suppose if I want to write any message on the browser's window, so I need to use a write method of the document object, right? So document dot write, and into bracket I need to provide the message whatever I want to print on the browser's window, right? So actually it is inbuilt window dot document dot write, right? So as window is a top level object for the JavaScript. Okay, all the global variables are properties and the functions methods of the window object. Okay, now let's go ahead and see what are the various properties and methods we are going to use for the window object. So first of all, the location property, it returns the current URL, and some of the methods we have already used, right? That is alert and prompt. So alert is a method that displays some text in an alert box, right? So the one window will pop up and your message will be there in alert. And the prompt means you have to take, whenever you need to take input from the user, and whenever you ask some input for the user from the user, right? So that you can achieve through prompt method. Okay, so here I have put one example, right? So one JavaScript is written. So let's actually see this particular program in our environment, Visual Studio Code. So here you can see that one HTML document I have created, right? And in this, this is a particular JavaScript, right? And here is the particular button, right? So I have created one button. Whenever I click on that button, it will return the current window size of the browser, right? So for that, it is a very simple. You just need to create one function and you have to call that function on click event of the button, right? So here you can see one event is there on click, and here whatever function we have created. So window size function is created over here, and that function you can see over here, right? So in that we have defined two constant variables. So const keyword we have used. So W for width and H for the height, right? So as we know that it represents the current window, browser window, right? So you can directly use window dot the inner property, right? So inner width, window dot inner height, right? And we are just displaying that particular output in an alert box, right? So again, alert is a one Windows method. So you don't need to write window dot alert, right? So it is obviously there because it's a root level, top level object, right? So you don't need to define again and again over here in the method. So that is the logic of this particular program. Okay. Now, suppose say for example, if I run this code, so you can see that there is a one button. Let me zoom it. Okay. So here there is a one button, and whenever I click on this button, so it represents the current window height, right? So you can see that the width 1440 and height is a 694, right? So this is an alert box output, and when you press OK, then it goes out, right? So this is a very simple example, guys, that will provide you the current browser window size, right? Some another program I have created for this, right? So here we are just displaying some alert box and prompt box, right? Because these are the methods of this particular window object. So how you can use the alert? So it is very simple to use alert. Into bracket you have to provide the message, but when this message is going to be provided whenever I am going to click on this button. So how? So because I have written this particular logic on click event. So if you want to write, then you can write like this window dot alert. Here another button is there that will prompt some input from the user. So enter some data, right? So that will be get. And another object of that window dot document dot write over here, and it provides the current URL. So here you can see that I have used location property, right? So I have used location property. So window dot location, right? So let's execute this code. So open. Here you can see location property. So that provides this particular output over here, right? Then click here for the message. So hello, this is a message, and here is your prompt box. So you can enter some data over here, right? So as we have not stored that data anywhere, it is just asking for the data. You can just enter the data. You can later on store this data in any variable, and you can just put it out, right? So this is the another example regarding this our window object, right? Now, a third example, suppose from the current window, I want to open a new window. So how you can open that, right? So it's a very simple example. So here in this particular example, I have created two buttons. In a first button, on click event, I'm just displaying message. This is alert, right? In the second one, I'm just using a function, open window function, right? So here in open window function, I'm going to define window dot open. Open is a method of a window object, right? And in that you have to pass which document you want to open, right? So here you can see that window object open3.html. So one form I have created. So here is the form. In this form, I'm just displaying the message that welcome to DOM window object, right? So whenever from this form I'm clicking on this button, this particular open object window object open3.html form will be open. So let's execute this code and see how it behaves, right? So first of all, whenever I click on this, so it will open one alert box as per the logic, but here whenever I click on this, then it opens another form, and here whatever message we have written, so welcome to DOM window object, and you can see the form name over here, window object open3.html. So you can see, guys, you can manipulate your browser window in a different ways with provided inbuilt properties and method, right? So this is about the particular window object, right? Now next is we have another browser related object that is known as the Navigator object, right? And Navigator object is the representation of the internet browsers, right? So suppose say for example, it contains all the information about the visitors, clients, whatever visiting your current browser, right? So what are the properties we have for the Navigator object? So it's a app name, it returns the name of the browser, app code name, it returns the code name of the browser. App version, which version currently is there, whether the cookie is enabled or not. Platform, so it returns the which platform the browser is compiled. And the user agent, so it returns the user agent header sent by the browser to server, right? So here you can also enable whether the Java is enabled or not into your browser with the use of Java enable method, right? So sometimes Java enable is property that will be default set because many websites and applications are using Java based, right? So if you want to execute that, then you must have to enable Java, right? So that setting you will find from the browser setting. Okay. Here, one small example I have created. So you can observe that various information it provides. So whatever property we have seen over here, so that is practically I have put into this. So let's go for the example. So you can see over here, one navigator object is there, right? And with the navigator object, we are going to access a different properties of our internet browser, right? So here you can see the app name, so navigator not app name, browser version, so app version, browser code, app code, platform, which platform cookie is enabled or not, which agent, user agent is there, and navigator dot Java enabled is not. So that is going to be reflected. So let's execute this code. Okay, fine, right? So here a browser is a Netscape. Browser version is a 5.0, and as I'm using the Mac OS, that will be reflected as it is, right? You can see this Apple WebKit. This is an engine, browser engine we are going to use, right? And my browser is a Chrome. I'm also having a Safari, right? Browser code is a Mozilla, which is the platform. So if in case you are using a Windows, then it will be Windows. And here I'm going to use a Mac. So Mac Intel, cookies enabled. And what are the user agent is there? That is a Mozilla, Macintosh, Intel, Mac OS X10. And you can see related information of my machine, and Java enabled is false currently. Okay, right? So this kind of information you will find regarding your particular browser. Okay, right? So this is all about the window and navigator object, guys. So see you in next video. Stay tuned.